Okay, hello everybody. My name is Aaliyah Brockbank, and I am the Clinical Communications Manager for Sinclair North America. Welcome to the Building Your Brand webinar. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. I'm very excited about this topic, and I hope you learn a lot. So we'll dive in shortly here, but branding is so important and such a crucial part of every single business. And not just, huge global corporations, but even small businesses as well, like yourselves. Branding really is like a visual representation of your business, but it's also a feeling and how people perceive your business as well. So really developing and executing a really strong brand strategy can lead to a healthy and successful business, which I'm sure is what everyone is looking for. So it really is worth it to take the time to develop a brand and a brand strategy that is true to you, but also true to what your target audience is looking for. So we will dive into all of that. Let me share my screen really quickly. Let's see. I think it's this one.
I'm in Atlanta, based on Atlanta.
Amazing. Thanks so much for joining. I love Atlanta. Okay, let me go full screen here. There we go. All right. Building your brand. So we'll jump into, first of all, what is branding? So a brand is a name, term, design, symbol, or any other feature that identifies one seller's goods or service as distinct from those of other sellers. So it's really what sets you apart from your competitors. And branding can be almost anything, especially in the digital age that we're living in. It can also be audio too, just to kind of add that into there. Especially in the days of TikTok, right? If you constantly are saying some sort of catchphrase, you become known for that, and that is your brand. So really can be so many different elements. Branding is a way to communicate your values as well, which is amazing, and your purpose. It should be based on what you believe in and how you want patients to perceive your business. So this is, I think, really amazing that you have an opportunity to use your business and your brand to show people what you're about, what your business is about, and your purpose, essentially. Also, sorry, I can't quite read with the little thing. There we go. Perfect. Your brand also encompasses more than your services, your logo, your website, or your name. It is so much more than that. Your brand is that hard to pin down feeling that separates powerhouse brands from forgettable brands. And I think we probably, in our minds, can think of different examples of that, right? Not within the industry necessarily, but with all the different brands that we come in contact with. Also, it takes 7 seconds to form a first impression. So this is why strong branding and recognizable branding and also consistent branding is so important, especially when your potential patients have so many different choices in clinics and they're on social media looking people up. It's important to really stand out because they're forming that first impression so quickly, and we unfortunately can't redo first impressions. I wish we could, but okay. So I'm sure you all recognize these already, right? Just the logos. So we have Instagram, Starbucks, MasterCard, Target, Nike, Apple, Shell, and McDonald's. So these are brands that I think anyone on the planet almost would recognize even without the name attached, just their logo. And this is the key word, is being recognizable. And there really is an advantage of being recognizable, and we'll talk about that shortly. Of course, these are globally recognized brands, but you can be just as recognizable to your patients and your target audience by using that same strong and consistent branding. So we'll get into the importance of branding here. And the biggest thing is people trust brands that they recognize, right? Let's kind of think of an analogy here. I'm really guilty of this. When I go to a store and I'm looking for medication, and say Excedrin, for example, I'm a big Excedrin taker when I have a migraine, and I see the off-brand right next to it, and I know that that off-brand does the same thing, has the same ingredients, is cheaper, but I still go for Excedrin. It's because I trust it and I know it and I recognize it. And that is why I choose that brand. And it's really the same within our industry as well. It's the same concept. And how important is trust within this industry, right? Trust is everything. If a patient doesn't trust their provider or the clinic, they will not be returning. And it's obviously, you can build trust in many, many different ways, but consistent branding is the first way you can start to build trust, because patients and your target audience, they are interacting and experiencing your brand before they even step foot into your office, or before they even interact with you, right? Or before they even talk to you. So the sooner we can build some sort of trust, the better. And it pays off to be recognizable, right? Definitely. So it does take 5 to 7 impressions for someone to recognize a brand. So this is another reason why it's so important to be consistent. I'm going to say the word consistent a million times tonight. You might get sick of it, but it is really, really important. Imagine a brand who uses different colors. They kind of change their logo a lot. Their messaging isn't clear. They're changing that quite a bit as well. They're not consistent. People aren't going to trust that. It's kind of a confusing feeling that it evokes, and that is not what we want. So stay true to your brand and stay consistent. Also, really strong branding creates a lasting impression as well. So it helps you to become more memorable in the mind of patients and of your target audience, which is great. So when it comes time for their injectable appointment, or it's laser season coming up, right? You are in their mind, they are most likely to book with you in that point. It also helps to create loyal patients. This is the goal, is patient loyalty, building forever patience, a lifelong relationship. Great branding gives your business a more human side that patients can relate to. It's really important this day and age to be relatable as a brand. People really want to connect with a brand, essentially. So really humanizing your brand to create loyal patients. Also, this is something that I don't think a lot of people necessarily would think of, but employee satisfaction. So a company with great branding will have an easier time engaging employees with a sense of purpose within the company. So the employees, feel proud to be a part of something. They're proud of the name that they work for. It's not just a job, right? I can personally attest to this, working for Sinclair, definitely. And Google is also a really great example of this as well. They're really well known for their company culture and the benefits they provide for their employees, and that is part of their brand. And you have to have good, strong employees to have a good, strong brand. And I kind of talk about employees more and more throughout this, this webinar. Okay. So branding can also evoke emotions, whether we really realize it or not, or whether we realize it's happening to us when we're interacting with brands. It can definitely happen. And there's definitely a kind of a segment of emotional marketing is what it's called. If you've seen a commercial, and I feel like there's a lot of them lately, that tells a really beautiful story, and it's like, oh my gosh, this is like a movie. It's like a beautiful story about a family or whatever. And then at the end, it's Publix or it's Target. It works. It's kind of silly, but it definitely works. So a lot of the times consumers in general, when it comes to branding, they are kind of selecting a brand based on emotions a lot of the times. So customers who have, or patients, I kind of use that interchangeably, who have an emotional relationship with the brand have 3 times higher lifetime value and will likely recommend the company at a rate of 71% instead of the average 45%. So medical aesthetics is kind of emotional already, right? Patients are coming to you with some, their biggest insecurity, essentially, and you are helping them improve that. You are helping them in their life and giving them confidence. So emotions it's already tied into the industry. So if you can tie that feeling into your branding, really great. Millennials. So whenever I can add in a millennial statistic, I do, just because I should say, we are really the current and the present market of the medical aesthetic industry. We have a really great guest speaker at our Beauty Boss event, and I'll talk about Beauty Boss a little later. Her name's Audrey Neff. She is the marketing director of Patient Now. She has a really amazing presentation on millennial marketing, so highly recommend that. But millennials identify with brands more personally and emotionally compared to older generations, with 50% agreeing that brands represent their values and where they fit in. So we really want to relate to the brand that we're choosing, right? So very, very important to relate to millennials. So what are some different emotions we can kind of evoke with our branding, or good emotions, I should say? First of all is a feeling of community. So build community into your brand by sharing your story. You are inviting your patients in, or your target audience into who you are and why you do what you do. Also, literally get involved with your community by getting involved in local causes. This not only is great for brand recognition, right? But it's also always great to jump into your community when you can. Another great feeling is a feeling of being cared for, especially in such a luxury industry, right? Patients want to feel valued. So always keep this feeling, even as your business grows, no matter how big or successful your business gets. Really instill this culture in your employees and create customer service standards to show that you care about the customer experience. And the customer experience is a huge part of your brand, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. Also, a feeling of status. So patients love to feel special or like they're part of an exclusive club by visiting your clinic. Loyalty programs, or like some sort of VIP program, is a great way to evoke this feeling. Also, one of our amazing reps, she's based out of Texas, her name's Pam. She actually taught me recently that clinics that have a loyalty program in place have better patient retention. And it totally makes sense. If your branding's great and people really love your business and you have a loyalty program, I am definitely coming to you for sure. I'm building up my points. It's like Starbucks. If I have a choice between Starbucks, who gives me stars, or a coffee place that I also like that does not give me stars to earn a free coffee, I'm choosing Starbucks. So we do offer a lot of different loyalty programs on our customer portal that you can implement into your business. Highly recommend. Alrighty, so there are a lot of different elements to branding, so a lot of pieces, but a brand strategy is kind of the full picture or the full puzzle. So a brand strategy refers to a long-term plan to create a distinct and impactful brand identity in the minds of the business's target audience. It involves defining the brand's purpose, values, positioning, and personality in a way that sets it apart from competitors and resonates with consumers. Consumers, patients, customers, kind of interchangeable. A strong brand strategy considers all aspects of your market. So you must kind of think of your niche, product or service offerings, your customers or patients, and your competitors. You have to know them as well. The biggest part when developing your brand strategy is knowing and understanding your target demographic. It is absolutely vital. If you do not know who you're targeting, it's really hard to develop a brand that your target audience should be resonating with, right? So you have to know your target audience. That way your marketing is way, way, way more successful. I did a whole webinar on target demographic a couple months ago, so you can watch that if you need a little bit of guidance. So this again allows you to create messaging that resonates with your patients or your target audience's needs, preferences, and values. So it is a must. So when developing your brand strategy, these are some questions you can ask yourself to help develop your brand. First one is, why are we here? Why are we doing what we're doing? Who are we here for? So who is that target audience? Where are we going? Where are you going as a brand or as a business? What are your goals? What are we committed to? How are you different? What's your personality as a brand? What's your message and how are you getting that message across? And this kind of ties into why are we here? But think of it this way. What is your purpose beyond making money? Of course, that is the goal of every single business on the planet, but you have to have another purpose, especially in this industry, right? It's such a personal industry. So really think about why you are here. And we'll talk about these things a little later too. Okay, we will jump into the 5 elements of branding. So first one being brand identity. So this is probably what you often think of when you think of a brand. It's kind of the most obvious. This is the externally facing image. So your brand identity is your logo, brand colors, and website. Your brand identity is the look and feel of your brand as well. This is the most common things that customers or patients remember. So it has to stand out for sure. Your brand should be on trend and aligned with customer expectations, and it needs to be unique enough to be identified in a crowd of your competitors. So a little tricky, right? You have to be trendy, but also different and unique, but definitely doable for sure. Using a signature color can increase brand recognition by 80%. It's amazing. I remember when we went from Viora, which is black and white, to Sinclair, which is this beautiful purple color that I love so much. I started seeing this color everywhere, everywhere I went, clothing, my nails, just everywhere. So really embraced it. So I can really attest to that. There's actually a lot of psychology behind marketing and colors. It's really, really interesting. And I just saw a TikTok the other day where this guy printed out different like trademarked brand colors and had people guess what they are, and everyone knew what they were. Tiffany blue, Home Depot orange, Post-it note yellow, and so on. So really think of us really strong color to incorporate into your brand. All right, so that was brand identity, so kind of the most obvious. In addition to brand identity here, your logo is not the only thing that makes your brand, right? It kind of may be the first thing that we think of, but it's just the tip of the iceberg, and your brand is so much more than that, which we'll get into next. All right, so we'll talk about brand purpose, mission, and values. So your purpose, mission, and values are all different aspects of your brand, but they should all work together to tell a larger story about who you are and what you do. So your purpose is what you do and what you can promise your patients. Your mission is the larger goal you hope to achieve through doing business. And your values are what your brand represents. Your brand should live and breathe these things, and it should exude from your brand as well. Every single employee should have an idea of what your purpose, mission, and values are. They don't have to memorize it necessarily, but they should definitely have an idea. And it would be really great if you can all kind of work together, to create that if you don't have one quite yet. It really does, when you live up to your mission, your values, and your purpose, it definitely shows a form of authenticity as well. You're staying true to your word, which is important. So if anyone needs an example of a mission statement, here is one for you. So our mission is to empower individuals to embrace their unique beauty and elevate their confidence through innovative and personalized medical aesthetic treatments. We are dedicated to providing a safe, comfortable, and compassionate environment where patients can embark on transformative journeys to rediscover their confidence and radiance. I want to go to that clinic for sure. Your purpose would be to become, intercity name, premier destination for non-invasive medical aesthetics, skincare, and mind-body wellness. To grow our brand as a name recognized for superior professionals who provide elite-level care and achieve natural, consistent results while optimizing client safety and satisfaction. So good. Values usually are just some adjectives. So just think of some adjectives that really resonate with you and who you are as a brand. Those are some great examples. I really love when I see mission, purpose, and values on someone's website, whether if it's its own section or if you put it in the About Us. I think it really means a lot. And again, it humanizes your brand and really forms a sense of authenticity as well. So get to writing if you don't have one yet. Okay, next we have brand messaging. So your brand messaging is the voice of the brand. Just like the brand identity, the messaging helps you connect with your customer base to deliver a better experience. This is the language you use on your website and social media posts and in conversations with your customers or your patients. Yeah, there's that word again. It's important that brand messaging is consistent. You should train any employee or anyone who has a customer facing or a patient facing role to use the same language and tone when conversing with customers. So really important that everyone's consistent, across the board. The messaging's clear, not confusing at all. Next, we have brand differentiation. I always have to take that word slow. I'm always afraid I'm going to mess it up. So this is what makes you different from your competitors. So it can be price, but careful. It's easy to get cut out of the market this way. You never want to undercut the market. That just attracts not lifelong patients, right? It just attracts price seekers. So I would stay competitive in your pricing for sure. But instead, you want to offer a feature or a unique value. So something truly unique to your business. Customer service helps brands stand out from the crowd. 94% of consumers say how they're treated influences their purchasing decision. I think especially in this industry, right? So think if you have your clinic and right next door you have another clinic. You offer the same things at the same price. In theory, you are yielding the same results from these treatments. But the clinic next door, the branding isn't clear, the consultative process isn't great. They're not clear about pricing until after the treatment when it's already too late. Long wait times, which I know things happen. Sometimes we run behind and that's okay, but consistently it's an issue. The front desk staff isn't great. They didn't really greet, the patient when they came in. They kind of fumbled for the paperwork versus having it ready. So many different things, right, within the patient experience. But when they come to your clinic, they are greeted right away by name, their paperwork is ready, they didn't have a long wait time, they don't feel like a number, they feel really confident in their personalized treatment plan, you let them know about price, you offered them something to drink. Again, all of these different things that go into the customer experience. And this is what truly, truly, truly sets you apart. Again, you can all do the same things at the same price, but how you treat your patients and the experience you provide is the biggest thing. Okay. Brand experience, so kind of the same thing. Brand experience is the way your patient connects or interacts with various connection points. So it's more than just when they're in your office, it's social media, when they use your services or products, and when they interact with your team as well. So everything from when a patient first engages with you to when they use your product is considered brand experience. So if they purchase skincare from you and they're using that every single day, they're still technically experiencing your brand. So really continue to build your brand post-sale through delivering an above and beyond experience that really helps to create long-term connections. So this is another part of that patient experience. Following up with them after their appointment, especially their first appointment, is really important. Sending them birthday texts with a little discount or the anniversary of when they first became your patient. Just those little things just really add up and help to create a great patient and brand experience. And when patients have great experiences with you, they tell their friends, their families, everyone on social media, and really help to build your patient base for you, which is great. Okay, so those were the different elements of branding. So how do we implement these? I'm pretty sure these are all things I've said before. Consistency. So share your brand identity in everything that you do. Your brand should be clear and concise in every move that you make within your business. But also, this sounds a little contradictory, but you have to be flexible too, right? Industries evolve, things change, especially if you've had your business for a really long time. Things are so different now compared to 5-10 years ago, right? Even aesthetically, meaning like your brand identity, you have to evolve in order to keep up with times and keep up with the industry. And it's totally great and fine to go through a rebranding. And branding in general is something that you kind of have to check back on. It's not just oh, I developed a brand strategy and I'm done. Like I never have to adjust it again. That's not how it is. So it's okay to be flexible, and you need to be flexible. It's a strategic plan. And get employees on board. So I keep talking about employees. Your employees are just as much a part of your brand as you are. And your patients may talk to them and see them before they ever see or talk to you. So really important to instill, again, that culture, that customer experience standard, and giving your employees the tools in order to consistently, use your brand and your brand identity and your brand messaging for you. So how can you measure success? So all of these things, there's a lot that goes into this success of a business, right? It's not just branding, but these are just little things that you can check in on that can tell you if your branding is on point or not, essentially. First one is patient satisfaction. So how are your patients feeling? So reviews are obviously great, and conducting surveys, especially surveys for who your target audience is within your patient base. So kind of giving them surveys to see how happy they are and if their branding is kind of on point with what what they're looking for, I should say. Patient loyalty and retention. So within the industry, about 40% patient retention is the goal or the average. 20% would be the low end for sure. If it's under 20%, there's something going on that we definitely need to look into. Is it branding? Maybe. It could definitely be a part of it. It's hard to have a healthy, successful business with inconsistent branding, so certainly it could be a part of it. But again, there are many different aspects that could be contributing to something like that. Next one. Also, check up on your online metrics. So your website traffic, conversions, social media engagement, and growth as well. So a couple of just little inspirational quotes, or just quotes that really embody what branding is this is what I'm going to leave you with. Your brand is not what you say it is, it's what they say it is. So it's from the perspective of your target audience, or just anyone, right? Definitely a great one. Also, your brand is what other people say about you when you're not in the room. So think about how you would like to be talked about as a brand. So when you're developing your brand strategy, what adjectives are you wanting to be used when you are not in the room? I think that's a good motivator for sure. I don't know who said this one. I found it, so shout out to whoever it is out there. Branding is a feeling, a story, and a perception. I really like that one. That just really resonates with me. Okay, so that is wrapped up on the branding side, but I do have a special promo code for you. So we have our really amazing Beauty Boss event coming up. It is October 20th through 21st. It is in Connecticut at a really fun and cool casino, so it'll be a good time. The Beauty Boss event really is about gaining like insight and inspiration from really amazing speakers that are just amazing within the industry. We have so many different ones. We really help you to use your capital equipment in the best way, just really kind of help get your business going, help build revenue, and help build relationships with your patients. So we have a full clinical day, so talking all about combination therapies, not only with our products, but with others as well, like injectables and whatnot. We have a full practice development and marketing day as well. So more into branding, marketing to millennials, social media, the list goes on and on. You can try, our newest products. We do demos all day long, or both days, I should say. We have a cocktail reception. It just is a really great time. Everyone that has attended that I've spoken to just absolutely loves it and takes something from it. So with that being said, promo code is webinar50. And you can head to mysinclaircollege.com to register. And finally, if you are not familiar with our products, you are welcome to, or if you just want to check out our website, see our branding, right? You can go on that QR code. Always let us know any questions you have. Speaking of questions, does anyone have any questions? You can type in the chat or unmute yourself. No. Okay, I mean, I'll wait a second for the chat for sure. Let me just actually check before I. Beauty Boss is the bomb. Yes, Lisa, thank you. I'm so glad you enjoyed it. It was so nice meeting you there. The promo code, let me go back. Webinar 50. Thank you. I'm so glad you enjoyed it. Webinar 50, a nice hefty discount for you. Well worth it. Anyway, you can always let us know any questions you have or any help we can provide to you. We're always here, here to help grow your business. So you can email us there. Yes, you're so welcome. Okay. There are no further questions. Thank you so much for joining. I hope this was helpful and you can embark on your branding journey. We will be back in not a few weeks, like a week actually, with Kara. It's her webinar all about combination therapies. Very exciting. So definitely join that one. Thank you so much again, and have a great night. Bye.